All right. So we got a flashy new ship, and it's pretty darn good. Obviously, I'm a fan. Um, but I want to ask a bigger question around this ship. Has this changed how you think about crime in the Star Citizen universe? Because you're introducing a ship where you're smuggling, you're data running, but you're not really stealing anything from other players. You're more or less just manipulating NPCs. Has this changed the way you think about piracy in the Star Citizen universe or about criminality at all? Has this made that type of career, that type of pursuit more attractive to you, given the fact that even though we can't really say it's a victimless crime, it's a human victimless crime, hopefully, in the ideal sense. Has this changed the way you look at that? And has this possibly made you think, maybe I do want to be something of a Han Solo? And it's not all just about plucky dialogue. There's a few capers here and there. Now, of course, right off the bat, is this strictly a criminal ship? No. I mean, it can't exist in the Star Citizen universe as, this is the crime ship. None of them do. None of the Drake ships do either. Um, they have their legitimate uses within the universe. They just happen to appeal to you know, a certain demographic. And so, once again, here we have another ship, and it has that asset of speed. I heard other people talking about, well, this ship can smuggle, that ship can smuggle, but are they fast? Do they have an option to evade the authorities while they're smuggling? And the bigger the ship, the less options you have, because the more visible you are and the slower you are. Whereas a ship like this, it's relatively smaller and it's supposed to be a whole lot faster. How much? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but cross our fingers and hope that because of its truthfully very light armament, it will definitely make up for that in the speed category. But the question still stands. Has this changed your stance on perhaps being a criminal or a bit of a soft criminal in the Star Citizen universe? One of the biggest assets this ship has, once again, is its speed. If that speed does indeed materialize in a valuable quantity, in a serious quantity, in a quantity that we can actually use. Speed is quite an asset, and it's not simply because, then I can swoop in and attack when I want to, but if you have the speed to evade and escape your pursuers, that can instill a certain amount of confidence, much more, I think, than straight up weapons can. And so this might be something that kind of makes players think, hey, I wasn't really digging the idea of taking, my Cutlass or my Caterpillar or my Starfarer into questionable space, but a ship like this, something that's fast, something that allows me to get away, something that has its own scanners, something that if properly managed would probably be right at home in an area like that, in a hazardous area like that. Has this maybe instilled enough confidence into people where they're like, I don't want to just stay in law-abiding space. I want to kind of go out there into the darker corners of the universe, and something like this might be right for me. Add on to that, whether you're basically running illegal cargo, whether that be, data or actual physical cargo in the universe, you're not really stealing it from another player, right? So you're not really victimizing, supposedly, another player in the Star Citizen universe by running the ship if you're running it that way. So you could be a smuggler, you could be a data runner, you're taking advantage of NPCs, you're breaking NPC laws, but no players get hurt in the process. Has this kind of made you think, what, maybe I don't want to be a full-on pirate, but a smuggler? Hell yeah. A smuggler sounds like a cool career. It sounds like it'd be pretty exciting. Has this kind of changed your mind in that direction? Now, one of the first things that really kind of got my imagination running was once again hearing about the speed of the ship, seeing the size of it. It took me back to the Millennium Falcon almost immediately. And, there's a lot of people out there who are going to say, yeah, that's one of my favorite ships in sci-fi. And of course, its big outing was arguably The Empire Strikes Back, the single greatest movie in the entire Star Wars cinematic universe. Anybody who disagrees with that clearly has suffered a catastrophic brain injury, but I commend you on, once again, regaining the use of your faculties enough so that you could use the internet. Bravo, sir. Bravo. But back to the topic at hand, the asteroid field chase in Empire Strikes Back. Because when I started looking at this and you're hearing about the speed, I'm somebody who spends a lot of time hanging around Grim Hex, hanging around those asteroid fields. I went, oh man, could you imagine being chased by the UAE Navy in and around here with that music going off in the background? And I had to go on YouTube and type in ESB OST asteroid, and I got the song, and I listened to it for a while. That whole asteroid chase soundtrack portion. And it's obviously a ship that's designed to pluck at those heartstrings, and it plucks at them very well. It really does. And I have a feeling that I'm not the only one, because I have a feeling that there's a lot of you who are probably looking at that and kind of going, yeah. Ordinarily, yeah, I'd be a little like, oh, well, I already got the ship that I need. But now I have a feeling there's probably more than a few people are looking at this, seeing what it is, and then looking at their own hangars and going, all right, so which of you really hasn't lived up to your potential? Which of you is really taking too long to build? And I have a feeling that there's probably some people out there who were like, oh, I just don't want to be a pirate. It sounds exciting, but I don't want to be a pirate, and I just don't want to be a dick to other people. I mean, maybe if you could just do it NPC only, maybe, but smuggling, yeah, I could do that. That would be interesting. That would be exciting. And I wonder if this isn't going to be like a ship that possibly creates a little bit of a shift in the Star Citizen community, not to where all these people out there are going to go, oh, hey, I want to be a pirate, but where there might be a lot of people out there who kind of think, hey, you know what, I kind of want to go out and smuggle and run some illegal missions and just have a blast and be chased around the universe by the cops and whatnot. I kind of want to be that player. I just want to have an exciting time, and this looks like a ship that could facilitate that. And whenever things get too hot, because clearly this ship doesn't really have the guns that other ships do, it's clearly not designed around the idea of being a heavy combat vessel. It's built, hopefully, to just book it and run, and it's kind of, appropriately, has the appropriate facilities to allow for that. Now, there's a certain fun, there's a certain excitement to being pursued, to being hunted, to being chased, and yet to escape, to get away. There's a certain, when you're talking about PvP and you go in and you beat somebody, okay, fair, but escaping and consistently escaping from people is fun. I guess it takes you back to those playground days where you're playing tag or whatnot, and you're always getting away from this person or that person. It's a fun game to play. A lot of kids, enjoy it for an obvious reason. It's fun to have people chasing after you, but especially when they can't catch you, it's pretty damn funny, and it's pretty damn enjoyable. In a weird way, it's kind of like PvP almost, except where it's like, you can't get me, and I certainly enjoy that type of gameplay. To give you an example, last night I earned the achievement, the Alliance Slayer. Stayed up a little too late doing it as well. And you might look at that and say, okay, with a bounty on your head and within war mode, which is basically open world PvP, get 10 honorable kills without dying. Now the problem is the bounty on your head, because that creates a dot on the map that basically tells everybody, here's where this person is, and if you kill them, you get like, what is it, 100, 200 honors, something like that, in one shot for killing this player. And obviously there are going to be groups that are going to form up, especially right now, and they're going to go out and they're going to try to hunt you. And they did, but they failed because I kept escaping from them. Now, of course, yes, I'm a rogue, so you think, well, you're stealthy. But the problem is that there's that dot on the map that kind of reveals where you are. But the map is simply a 2D plane. It's a 2D image. It only says where you are. It doesn't say what altitude you're at, or I guess sub-altitude might be the proper term. And I've taken certain steps to allow myself to take advantage of that. I stick to areas where there's lots of water, and when I try to evade pursuit, I just turn into a fish. And now I have full mounted speed underwater, and they might be looking for me up on the surface, but I'm actually hidden way down there. And I also, because I'm a rogue, I still have stealth. So I'm constantly able to escape. And that being pursued, that being hunted, and that being chased and escaping so many times was so exciting and so much fun. It was literally the most fun I've had playing this game in ages. It was, you know, there's a lot of, if you've been watching videos, and a lot of people tell you, there's been some problems with this launch, and there's some problems with the state of the game, definitely. But I can honestly say that even within that context, I have never had more fun than I had doing that. That was the most excitement I've had in a long time. And in a way, yeah, okay, so I was killing people, but just being chased and being hunted down, that was the most exciting part. It was the most fun that I had had in a long time. And just constantly escaping and knowing you're driving your pursuers insane was hilarious. And it's what sustained me while I was trying to, you know, basically complete this achievement. And you got to be aware of the fact that when you're doing something like this, yeah, it's going to be you know, it's going to be very much a case of you got to take your time and you got to pick and choose your targets, and you got to kind of check out your environment before you do it. But man, whenever I saw those big gangs and those big troops coming after me, and you know, having to, you know, keep my vanish on cooldown and being close to the water so that I could escape, that was just amazing. It was so much adrenaline. So having a ship that's built around the idea of speed and escaping and evading pursuers and things like that, that really sounds like my type of gameplay. And I bet you there's a lot of people out there who were originally like, oh no, I shall never be a scuffler or a rapscallion, but now are looking at that ship and probably thinking like, man, that's so tempting. And I would love to see if this ship actually causes a bit of a shift in the community to where more people are like, I want to be a smuggler, I want to be a scuffler, I want to be a rapscallion. You know, I'm wondering if this ship isn't going to kind of represent somewhat of a shift within the community. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.